This is the garage interior wall. And tankless water heaters, a lot of them are not required to have safety pans. But the code also says that the pressure relief valve should have an air gap in the same room as the water heater. So, hang on 1 second. A word from our sponsor. So, if you had an air gap in the pressure relief drain, then a reasonable solution to that would be to install a safety pan. We've got our gas piping in here. Again, it's a tankless water heater. We've got a condensate drain line. It's been capped off. So that's going to allow the water, the condensate, to migrate back into the system and cause it to corrode and leave. Our thermostat's right here next to it. So our thermostat, our condensate has been capped off, and it's going to cause premature failure, can cause premature failure of the system. Another thing that can cause premature failure of the system is that it should be serviced once a year. Okay, there's a screen. Let's see if I can identify it right there. And you're going to want to turn the right valves off. You're going to get very wet. Now, all water heaters should be serviced once a year, but well, we just don't do it. We expect a conventional water heater tank to last about 10 years. That's an acceptable rate, and we just let it ride. But these water heaters save you money over the long term, and they cost a little more as a sports car. And for the sports car to perform for you, this could be like a 14-year-old, 15-year water heater. But if you do not service it once a year, it's going to be more like a 5-year water heater. So you're not going to get your return on investment, or you're going to get your performance. So that's something to think about. So what have we learned here? We learned that it needs to be serviced once a year. We learned that we don't have an air gap. We don't have a condensate drain line. We also learned that when you see the red tape around the gas valve, that this was not mic'd in with a manometer. Guess they didn't have one on the truck, huh? So now, can you bolt this up and it works? Obviously, my clients have been in here a year. This is a 1-year inspection, and I did the first inspection, and I did a progress inspection. It's supposed to have been a pre-drywall inspection, but in a sense, okay, that's another story. But so anyway, when that red tape is there, we know that it hasn't been mic'd in. So it may be operating at peak performance as it was bolted in, or it can be adjusted to operate a little more efficiently. So the gas has not been adjusted. We don't have an air gap on our filter, but probably the most important is we don't have the condensate drain line right there. This is inside the garage east interior wall. We're going to move around here a little bit to continue our water heater discussion. And I'm glad we did, because I haven't put that cover back on yet, and we're already in the plumbing section. So I'm going to get that on here in just a moment, for sure. Okay, so this is the drain piping for the pressure relief valve, and it's supposed to be between 3 and 6 inches from the ground. And when this foundation pad for the condensing unit got installed, so that's not 3 inches. That's not 3 inches. So when it comes out at 200 pounds of pressure, okay, it's going to hit and spray. It'd spray anyway. You could cut an inch off if you think it is going to do you a lot of good, and that would make it right, and that would make it proper. So yeah, that's something you probably want to do. And but what are you going to realize from your efforts? Well, one, there's no effort in adding an inch to the space there. There's no effort whatsoever, hardly any effort, barely an inconvenience. That, on the other hand, your life will not change, probably won't change.